Hey guys, this is my second video on the topic of VGA capture from old computers. If you haven't seen my first video, I'll link to it here. But I've learned a few things since making that initial video, and I want to share some of those with you. So let's fire up this old 486. We'll go into Windows 3.1.1, and we'll take a look around. So we're currently running in a resolution of 640 by 480. I believe it's 256 colors. But either way, my current video capture solution works perfectly with this resolution. Now I'm able to capture 800 by 600 just as well, at 1024 by 768. Really everything up to and including 1920 by 1080 is absolutely no problem for this capture device. So, that having been said, let's bring up a DOS prompt, and we'll take a look at DOS. So you can see we've got a bit of a problem. This capture device can't sync to the 720 by 400 at 70 Hertz that DOS uses. So let's take a look at the current setup that I'm using. We'll talk about how it works, why it doesn't work under DOS, and then we'll take a look at a really cool utility that I discovered a few days ago that will actually allow me to capture DOS video. So I bought this HDMI video capture device about 6 months ago. It's a USB 2.0 device, $12, $13. You see them all over Amazon. My experience, they're pretty much all the same. They don't offer great quality, and there is a little bit of a lag with them, but for what they offer, they're really good. Now, as you can see, this video capture device has an HDMI input, and there's surprisingly few vintage computers that actually have video cards with HDMI. In fact, I'd say there's exactly 0 that have an HDMI video card. So you need some solution to get HDMI from your vintage computer, and that's where these devices come in. This is a VGA to HDMI adapter. Again, these are all over Amazon. They vary in price, and the one that I've purchased was $12, $13 as well. Personally, I wouldn't invest too much money in one of these. They seem to be all the same. Now, essentially what they do is they'll take the VGA output from the computer and convert it to a resolution that a television would understand. That's where we come to the 720 by 400 at 70 Hertz resolution that DOS produces. It's also the same resolution and refresh rate that you'll typically see in BIOS, by the way. These VGA to HDMI adapters can't sync to that resolution and refresh rate. Now, there are some reports that this other VGA to HDMI adapter can sync to that resolution and refresh. Personally, I bought one of these, and I really didn't have any success with it. It didn't work for me. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it didn't work for me. So let's pop back into Windows, and we'll bring up that DOS prompt once again. And as you can see, now it works. Well, I found a tool a few days ago called VGA 240. And honestly, I've never been so excited about a DOS application. This is super cool. So let's actually back right out of Windows. I'll reboot the computer, and we'll bring it up in pure DOS mode. Let's take a look at this application. Now I have it set to run on boot. I've added VGA 240 into my AutoExec.bat. You can see the parameters that I used there for it. And if we run VGA 240 with a /?, it shows us all of the options that this tool offers. Basically, it's a TSR utility, terminate and stay resident, that runs in the background. It intercepts any requests that are sent to the VGA BIOS and forces a video mode with at least 480 scan lines. I believe it also fixes the issue with the refresh rate. It sets it to a 60 Hz. Could be mistaken on that, though. Now, being a TSR program, it does use a little bit of conventional memory. If you run memmaker under DOS, that will optimize your configsys and autoexec.bat. As you can see here, it loaded the program high, and really I have a lot of available conventional memory. So that's something I would absolutely recommend doing if you're going to use this utility. So let's take a look at some common DOS utilities and see if they display properly. Now, ScanDisk appears to work properly. There was a minor issue though, and this has really nothing to do with the VGA 240 utility. It's a drawback of the USB capture device. There is a delay when it switches video modes. There was about a maybe 4 or 5 second delay before it brought up any information from ScanDisk. Okay, defrag appears to work properly. And if I pop into MSD, yep, everything is in full color, displays all the information, everything looks great. Now I know a lot of you are probably thinking, that's great, it works under DOS, but can I capture game footage with it? Well, let's try a couple of games. I'm going to pull up Commander Keen and see how that fares. Now again, there was a slight delay before it brought up the game, but again, that's more to do with the video capture device than with the program. And yeah, Commander Keen appears to work perfectly. So let's load into Doom. Now this is a 486 DX33 with 16 megs of memory and a 512 meg compact flash card as the hard drive. So I'm using a copy of Fast Doom. And yeah, it appears to work perfectly. As you can see, my skills in Doom really haven't improved. I still kind of suck at this game. But it's fun. And more to the point, it is capturing this video with absolutely no problems. Obviously, I have sped up the footage a little bit. Now, at the end of the level, I did encounter a problem. As you can see, the computer is locked. I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the VGA 240 utility. I strongly suspect that's more an issue with the computer itself. So I'm going to reboot. And let's run a couple more tests. Because as much as I like this utility, I did encounter a few minor issues that I would like to point out. We'll go back into defrag. And now if I pop out of defrag, as you can see, our screen is kind of messed up. Now I can do a directory, and it does indeed still show me the contents of that directory. If I do a CLS, it doesn't properly clear the screen, though. Now if I pop back into MSD, at first everything looks okay. We have color. But then, for some reason, everything switches to black and white. Now, I've encountered this problem a few times. It's not terribly common, but when it does happen, there's really no way to recover from it, except to reboot the computer. I don't know if it's a quirk with my particular video card, or if it's an issue with the VGA 240 utility itself, but It was a problem I encountered, so I really had to include it in the video. Now, despite these minor problems that I've encountered, I'm still very excited to have found this utility, and I want to say thank you to the gentleman who wrote it. I'll put the information to the project in the video description, and absolutely, if you're looking to do video capture under DOS and you don't want to spend too much money, this is the solution you're looking for. Now, of course, being a DOS utility, not to state the obvious, it's only going to work under DOS. This won't allow me to capture video from BIOS, which uses the same resolution and refresh rate, by the way, and it's not going to work under things like Linux or FreeBSD. Now, I haven't tested this under Windows NT as of yet, but because of the way that NT works, I'd be very surprised if it does work under NT-based operating systems. I'm still going to try it, of course, but I'd be pleasantly surprised if it works. So if you enjoyed this one, please feel free to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Have any of you fought with VGA capture under DOS before? And what solutions are you using? By the way, I have added a Buy Me a Coffee link that's in the video description. No obligation. If you want to support what I do, please feel free. That'd be much appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching.